Dear students, you must all be familiar with the term caste system, but you must have a good knowledge of it in order to understand the social structure of India, to see how the system operates and has endured over time in the Indian society. You all know that the social structure of Indian society is characterized by a unique social institution called caste. The Indian caste system is a system of social stratification and social restriction in which communities are defined by thousands of endogamous hereditary groups called jatis. The jatis were hypothetically and formally grouped by the Brahmanical texts under the four well-known categories, that is, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The caste system as a form of social stratification is peculiar to India and is an inseparable aspect of the Indian society. There is no comparable institution elsewhere in the world for the caste system, although evidences of caste are found in many parts of the world. Attempts are being made to understand the system in its entirety, both by the Indian and Western scholars. Hence, caste system offers interesting issues for debates and discussions. It has been derived from the Latin word castus, which means pure. The Portuguese used this word to denote the Indian social classification, as they thought that the system was intended to preserve purity of blood. The Sanskrit word for caste is varna, which means color. The system is such a peculiar and complex one that scholars have not been able to give a satisfactory unanimous definition. However, let me quote some definitions for your benefit. Andre Betel defined caste as, quote, a small and named group of persons characterized by endogamy, hereditary membership, and a specific style of life which sometimes include the pursuit by tradition of a particular occupation and is usually associated with a more or less distinct ritual status in a hierarchical system, unquote. McIver says, quote, when status is wholly predetermined so that men are born to their lot without any hope of changing it, then class takes the extreme form of caste. When we take a close look at the caste system, it is found to be characterized by segmental division of society, hierarchy, restrictions on food habits, occupational restrictions, religious disabilities, endogamy, maintenance of social distance, untouchability, and settlement pattern, and concept of purity. The caste system gives to the Hindu society a segmentary character. The society is divided into various castes, the membership of which is determined by the consideration of birth. The status of a person does not depend on his wealth, but on the traditional importance of the caste in which he is born, and his status is rigidly maintained throughout life, and nobody can escape from his caste identity, irrespective of his potentialities or capabilities. The caste system is hierarchical with a definite scheme of precedence. The whole society is divided into distinct classes with the concept of high and low. Thus, Brahmins in India stand at the apex of the social ladder, while the Shudras occupied the lowest rank with manifold disabilities. Taboos are observed by the higher castes with regard to cooking, vessels, food, and commensality. They abstain from food cooked by a member of a lower caste and also food cooked and served in vessels which are considered impure. The Brahmins do not accept food or water from any other castes or subcastes or interdine with them during ceremonies and abstain from any kind of drinks and remain teetotalers. Traditionally, specific occupations are assigned to each of the 4 castes. Members of any caste are not allowed to take to any occupation which are degrading or impure. There are many rituals which the lower castes are not allowed to perform. They are also not allowed to study the sacred literature and are not given prasadam until and unless the high caste members receive it. A caste is an endogamous unit in that members of a caste must marry only persons belonging to their caste in order to maintain the purity and identity of the caste. The rule of endogamy is observed not only at the caste level but also at the subcaste and sub-subcaste level. A social distance is maintained because of the fear among the higher castes of pollution which results from proximity to or contact with the lower caste. The untouchables are not allowed to use public roads or public wells, to enter Hindu temples or to attend public school. Generally, the impure castes are made to live in the outskirts of the city. The concept of purity is closely linked to caste and is inherently obvious in the caste system. Opposite to the concept of purity is the concept of pollution. Caste groups in the topmost rungs of the caste hierarchy are pure, while those at the bottom rungs are impure. As far as the origin of the Indian caste system is concerned, there is no universally accepted theory. However, some theories have been propounded to explain its origin. They are racial theory, political theory, occupational or functional theory, guild theory, religious theory, evolutionary theory, and mana theory. The racial theory, propounded by Herbert Risley, G.S. Ghurye, and D.N. Majumdar, holds that the caste system is based on the original diversity of races. Risley feels that the Aryan element in the Indian population is conspicuously responsible for the development of the caste system. The Aryans who migrated to India already had a caste-like structure corresponding to the 4 major castes in India. As the Aryan came to India as invaders, they could not bring their women with them and therefore married women from indigenous Indian society. But at the same time, they did not give their daughters in marriage to non-Aryans. Thus, hypergamy and hypogamy practiced by the Aryan invaders who developed a social structure modelled on their native country gave rise to the caste system in India. Ghurye based his arguments on the Brahmanical system which, he feels, developed in the Gangetic Plains. He states that the Aryans who invaded India subdued the non-Aryans and considered them as Shudras. Majumdar is of the opinion that the Indo-Aryans used the favorite word varna, meaning color, for certain groups and orders of people in order to maintain their separate existence. The political theory holds that the caste system is a device invented by the Brahmins to place themselves in the highest rung of social hierarchy. Ghurye states, quote, "Caste is a Brahmanic child of Indo-Aryan culture, cradled in the land of the Ganges and thence transferred to other parts of India." Unquote. According to the occupational or functional theory, the origin of caste system can be found in the nature and quality of social work performed by the various groups of people. In other words, occupational specialization or economic functions of different groups have created the caste system. The superiority or inferiority of the occupations is represented in the hierarchy of caste. Denzel Ibbetson, who proposed the guild theory, says castes are a modified form of guilds, and the caste system is the product of interaction of three forces. First, tribes, second, guilds, and third, religion. The tribes adopted certain fixed professions and assumed the form of guilds. In ancient India, priests had greater prestige. They were a hereditary and endogamous group. The other guilds also adopted the same practices and in due course became castes. Hockart and Sennert are the two main advocates of the religious theory. According to Hockart, social stratification originated on account of religious principles and customs. In ancient India, religion had a prominent place. The king was considered to be the image of God. The priest kings accorded different positions to different functional groups. Sennert has tried to explain the origin of caste system on the basis of prohibitions regarding sacramental food. He holds that on account of different family duties, there grew up certain prohibitions regarding sacramental food. The followers of one particular deity considered themselves the descendants of the same ancestor and offered a particular kind of food as offering to their deity. Those who believed in the same deity considered themselves as different from those who believed in some other deity. Each group worshipping a particular deity gradually assumed caste status. Evolutionary theory holds that the caste system did not originate all of a sudden or at a particular point of time. It is the result of a long process of social evolution in which a number of factors played their part in the development of the present caste system. The racial theory, J.H. Hutton feels that occupational classes existed even before the Aryan invasion. Further, the indigenous tribal people had belief in mana or the impersonal force in an object, contact with which could emanate power. This belief in mana, says Hutton, could have been the forerunner for the purity and pollution concept. The caste system originated from the combination of the pre-Aryan social divisions and the tribal attitude towards the force of mana. Let us first look at its merits. The Indian caste system has preserved unity in diversity. It has achieved a graded racial and cultural harmony in India. It has fostered the spirit of cooperation and fellow feeling among members of the same caste. By helping the poor and needy, it has avoided the necessity of the state supporting the poor. And by guaranteeing different types and fixed types of occupations for every man and social group, the caste system has given economic security and psychological security. In addition to this, by defining occupations and distributing economic pursuits between different groups, the caste system has ensured for the provision of all functions necessary for life from the social, political, economic, religious, and other points of view. Through the enforcement of endogamy, the caste system has contributed to the preservation of racial and ethnic purity. It has also fostered the habits of cleanliness by insisting on ritual purity. Cultural diffusion, by which the customs, beliefs, skills, behavior and trade are passed on from one generation to another and further from the upper castes to the lower castes, who have also gradually adopted some ritually clean and hygienic practices as well, has been made possible by the caste system. And it is because of the caste system that class consciousness develops without breeding class struggle. It has created an efficient organization of Hindu society without giving any chance to class frictions and factions. Let us now take a look at its demerits. By restricting change of occupation, the caste system denies mobility of labor and consequently leads to stagnation. The higher castes cannot follow a low occupation which may be lucrative, and the lower castes cannot follow a higher and decent occupation. Sometimes an individual may not be skilled or interested in his caste trade, but may be talented and capable of some other pursuit, which by caste conventions may be prohibited. Such a situation leads to frustration and acts as a barrier to optimum productivity. Discontentment felt by the lower caste groups at the behavior meted out to them in society is an obstacle to national unity, as it prevents the development of national consciousness. Deprivation of opportunities for mental and physical development of the lower caste individuals erects social barriers. The worst consequence of the caste system is the plight of the untouchables, who are shunned, despised, and prevented from social intercourse with higher caste groups. The members belonging to a caste carry caste feelings and manifest blind and overriding loyalty to their castes. This makes them ignore the healthy social standards of justice, fair play, equity, and brotherhood. Under the influence of casteism, members of one caste do not hesitate in harming the interests of members of other castes. Casteism, therefore, spells autocracy instead of a system based on fraternity. Society changes in time and space, and the caste system is no exception. It has undergone many changes due to modern education, industrialization, means of communication, new legal machinery provided by the government for punishing all castes in the same way for similar offences, legalizing intercaste marriages, political awakening, independence of India, abolition of untouchability, democratic form of government, movements of social emancipation, constitutional guarantees provided for the welfare of the backward castes and ex-untouchable castes. During the British Raj, many Hindu reform movements such as Brahmo Samaj and Arya Samaj renounced caste-based discrimination and preached a casteless society. The restrictions on occupations have been relaxed and occupational mobility has become very common. The inclusion of so-called untouchables into the mainstream was argued for by many social reformers. Mahatma Gandhi called them Harijans or people of God. However, the term Dalit or downtrodden is now used as the term Harijan is largely felt patronizing. Though changes are taking place in the caste system, it still plays an important role in shaping the Indian societal structure. The system underwent fast changes due to industrialization, urbanization, modernization, education, secularization, etc. Yet, it could neither be weakened nor destroyed, and caste practices are still found to be very rigid in the rural areas. Various social reformers have made attempts to stop discrimination based on caste, and because of their movements, against this discrimination, there has been an improvement in the status of the so-called untouchables or Harijans or Dalits.